Hi, everyone. How's it going? Welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm Arabella, and I'm your host, and I'm here joined by Weston Fuller. Hi, guys. I have the chat opened up right next to me, so I'll be able to see all of you guys. And yeah, let us know where you're watching from. I'm here in San Jose in the Bay Area, and Weston, where are you at?
I'm based in San Diego,
Awesome.
California.
Awesome. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. You know, so many people tap in and join in from all over the world, so it's really awesome. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Cody. We got someone from New Zealand. Hi, Cornell. Hi, Lindsay. Oh, I see some familiar faces. It's so weird to do this like remotely instead of being in the office. So yeah, thanks for joining, you guys. We've got an exciting 2 days with Weston. He's going to be doing some photo manipulation and compositing work, showing us his process. So we're really excited to get started. But yeah, we do have a full schedule today and tomorrow. So if we can take a look at the schedule today. Yep. So if you missed it, early morning, we've got Victoria Pavlov with Adobe Fresco, and then Voodoo Val, she gave the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. So make sure to rewatch that because we will be reviewing those later today. And we've got Weston at 9 right now until about 11:30. We've got Julia Masalska, love that girl, for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge at 11:30. And then we've got at noon with Lindsay from Incanelli. She'll be doing some packaging design. If you like The Office, make sure to stick around for that because she's going to be doing something really fun. Then we've got Peter at 2 p.m. for the Daily Creative Challenge for XD. We've got Kyle at 2:30 p.m. for his draw along, and Voodoo Val and Kat Willett at 3 p.m. for the design off. So lots of things going on. Make sure to just have us on in the background if you're doing something today, or always get to tune in while you're doing something else and multitasking. But yeah, we're so excited to get started today. Weston, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you'll be working on?
Yeah, I'll key this little video that I have up.
Oh yeah, awesome.
I'm Weston Fuller. I'm based in the San Diego area. I'm a professional photographer and retoucher. I specialize in composite work, photo illustrations, photo manipulations. Biggest part of what I do is a lot of it's my work. My work has to be very narrative. I think that's what I tie to.
Yes, very conceptual.
Very conceptual, and at the most recent, I've really found a love for just kind of like art activism, and so I've really been a part of trying to help bring awareness to single-use plastics.
Yeah, amazing.
Images that have kind of circled the globe virally, which has been great to kind of bring awareness to that. And it was all done with the magic and help of Photoshop. So
amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, you have you're telling a story with each of your images, and I love that. And it's all the quality of your work also has this I don't know, this look that makes it feel like it's gonna pop out or something. It's really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, to me, one of my favorite things is if a photo, obviously the picture that's up here on my screen right now is I kind of landed on this one because I don't know if it's the most recent daily challenge or if it was one from last week, but it was kind of like making a superhero.
Yes.
So this was my superhero. This was a shot done a couple years ago. I was working with
amazing
Mike Lewis, who's an amazing swim photographer, but we worked with Nathan Adrian, so the Olympic swimmer, and we created him for the cover of the Swim Swam magazine. We just created this larger than life kind of merman feel.
I love that.
Out of the water, so
that's amazing. That's so fun.
Go ahead and get that out of there now.
Yeah, speaking of superpower kind of stuff, make sure again, if you didn't watch Voodoo Val's Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, make sure to watch that because we will be reviewing some of your challenges. And today's Daily Creative Challenge was to add superpower effects to any photo using custom textures and distortion filters. So make sure to, get on over to Discord, join, and to submit to your the current challenge tab. So, yep, thank you for putting that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure to work on that project while we are, while Weston is working on his, thing. So yeah, super fun. I see a couple more people. Monica, hi Cornell, hi Fairy. Very fun. Cool. Well, yeah, I guess we should get started then, yeah?
Gonna jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna start off. Whole goal, what really was kind of end of the summer, I was thinking of kind of creating a kind of a summer road trip feel.
Ooh.
And a goal that I love. If there's commercial photographers out there that kind of know some of the red tape and the hurdles that you have to jump through if you're creating work for a client or an agent.
Yes,
And,
yes.
This picture was taken a couple of years ago, and I've always wanted to use it. Kind of when I stopped to take this picture, I had an idea in mind, and I've just never really gotten around to fixing it up. So
yeah,
gonna push myself to kind of get that goal out of my way.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
do this for our challenge. But I mean, from a commercial photography standpoint, you would have to, we'd have to get some location permits, close this road down,
Right.
finding the talent, finding different products or the props that would be going into this. I was drawn to this picture specifically just because of mostly because of the subject matter of this road was just so graphically perfect that as it runs kind of S curves through this picture.
Yes, it really leads your eye from one end to the other.
Yeah, and I mean, and then it parallels, this little rock wall as it parallels the road.
Yeah.
And to me, that's one of the things I love about photography is you can be out and you can take pictures. And so I end up taking a lot of plates. And even though I don't have the ability to go ahead and edit something right then, or because I'm not, I haven't been hired to do a picture, or we haven't gotten permits, I can at least grab at least a plate, and then I can try to bring it to life later on. And that is the whole goal of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of days.
Yeah, amazing.
Trying to create a narrative or create a story with this road.
Yeah, and are you going to be kind of using your own plates and then also like Adobe Stock, or what's like the game plan with?
So my whole goal is this was my own plate. We're going to do kind of a pre-edit to get it ready, and then we're going to drop it in. Because of COVID restrictions and where we are right now in the world, one thing that's nice about retouching is it allows us to still create some very epic imagery, but we're doing it mostly on the back end right now because it's a lot harder to produce and create things at the moment. So I'm going to be using a combination of my own imagery, and I'm going to use some combination of Adobe Stock.
Amazing.
That way, you'll see some of the challenges when I prefer to take a picture or I'm creating a picture. I like to shoot everything myself. That way, I at least have 100% control. I think if you're a retoucher or you're wanting to get into composite work, you're going to find out real quickly you are going to be a micromanager, and you have a really hard time of letting go. And
that's true.
And so there's enough variables that come in with the editing process that if you can on the front end, it allows us to kind of set ourselves up for success when the picture's completed. So we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to dive into this. We're going to hope everything works out.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, like please feel free to ask them in the chat. We love them, and Weston is here for the next 2 hours, so he is here to answer whatever you have in your mind, and anything to do with retouching, or maybe his process, or even anything to do with running a creative business. So yeah, totally.
So with this image, I took variables, different light. Once again, I didn't have a project in mind or I was shooting for, so I kind of did a bunch of different plates that would allow me to do it. I went through so where I'm not taking up everybody's time. But I usually will go through, if I've taken 100, 200 pictures of something, I'll go through once it's loaded onto the computer, bring everything up, do kind of start doing some hard selections, narrow it down. you can see here on the bottom, I've narrowed them down to probably like the top 17 that I liked. There's small variations between these, but this image right here, 1805, is the file number. So this is the one I kind of landed on. I like this one because, as you can see, the light's not too harsh. It'll allow me to kind of adjust that. So I'm starting with a very neutral or very balanced image. It gives me more control and allows me to kind of add my own process to it. So with this picture in mind, I always want to start a composite with a very strong foundation image. And so this is going to be the foundation image for what we're going to be building from.
Exciting.
And hopefully, I'm not going to try to go too crazy with everything. We are going to add there's 3 main elements that I do with every composite, and that's really a process of color, light, perspective. Those 3 are really necessary to kind of pull off or have a successful composite. And that's what we'll be focusing on. And I don't know how much I don't know how much I should be talking. So you got to tell me if I'm talking too much or too little.
No, you're doing great. Super. And you're starting in Lightroom, right? Yep.
So I am in Lightroom. I pulled this up.
Nice.
Love, the Adobe products obviously are built so that
they're so seamless.
They're seamless. The synergy between them is really good so that you can have your workflow. Works really well. So I'm in Lightroom right now. It's just the classic version. I like it because it's up on my laptop. It's on my desktop. I'm working from just an iMac right now, but it's nice and big in front of me. So I'm not going to go too crazy, but the whole goal with this is to get it probably 60% there. But I want to make sure that just the colors, the contrast, it's in the direction that I want to go, because we're going to drop this into Photoshop afterwards and start putting it all together. It's going to continue to tweak, but I at least want to know like how close I need to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So with this, I do want to bring up the exposure just a little bit. I'm going to stay away from the contrast because I'm going to manually create my own contrast a little bit. As you can see, I'm going to tweak my highlights. That's going to come into play, especially when we start adding in different elements. Light is going to play really strongly with that. And it will allow us to kind of blend, kind of hide some of the Photoshop process, and the image can look like it wasn't Photoshopped at the end. Then we've successfully accomplished what we set out to do.
Yeah, that's always the challenge, right? Like putting together elements from different, things and like making sure that they all look like they belong within the same image.
So I'm liking contrast, the light, a little bit stronger here in the foreground. These, I guess it's ivy or these weeds that I was standing in. And I'm going to add just a touch of saturation for a little pop.
Very nice.
Come back down. Image is a little yellow. And I'm going to bring that out just a little bit. And some of the greens. I kind of tend to lean more towards muted tones. And I know some people will push the saturation higher, and I'm not
as big of a fan of that.
I'm not as big of a fan of that, just because I like it. I don't know. I think it tends more like a fine art feel, where it can be a little bit more muted. But that's my own opinion, I think.
I feel like your work is very kind of, it's almost like cinematic in a way. So like that muted color kind of goes well, with what you're going for.
Okay, I think I'm almost there.
Nice. Very cool. Diana has a question. Is that a raw file, and why not edit it on Photoshop from the beginning?
So you can see up here in the top, it's an NEF. I was shooting on a Nikon base body, so this is a raw file. So this is a raw file out of a Nikon camera. And I'm dropping it into Lightroom. Lightroom is a great place to just sort, organize your library. But with compositing, because there are going to be multiple images, if you have to bring another image in into the editing process, just because you might see something that you didn't like that you moved. There could be a section of road. As you're grabbing different elements to create one picture, Lightroom allows you to do some batch processing, and your batch processing allows you to just quickly edit the same image with the same tones. There might be some exposure changes, but for the most part, it allows you to do it allows you to edit quickly. You can see it. The sliders here, it's a faster edit. And in this world, in photography, if you're doing commercial photography, speed is key. Time is money. And so you really need to edit as quickly as possible.
Yeah, cool.
I'm happy with where this is. Color, vibrancy, like I said, I'm not trying to complete this image right now, because after we add multiple pictures into it, it's going to change. But this will at least give us a good foundation to be able to start from. I think it's appealing. And if anyone has any other questions, if not, I'm going to jump this over to Photoshop.
Yeah. Perfect.
We're just going to open this up. Let's see if my computer is going to respond.
Oh, Nikki has a question. It says, would it be best to keep it as a NEF raw file or convert it to be a DNG file?
A NEF file is a Nikon raw file. So DNG is going to allow you to, move your raw file across to multiple, most different platforms, and it's still going to read it as a raw file. Where some platforms, if you don't have a Nikon, or if it's not, sometimes you need to purchase an upgrade to be able to read a Nikon file. DNG would be an easier way to go.
Got it.
It's going to be the same thing. Converting it to a DNG, I haven't seen any real results that need me to change it.
Yeah.
Plus, cool. I shoot on like 3 different bodies, and if I'm shooting on like a large, medium format camera, I was like seeing the tag to find out, like I said, this picture was taken a couple of years ago, so I immediately was able to say, okay, this was shot off of the Nikon body.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Okay, Thank you. I have this open up now in Photoshop.
Perfect.
I'm gonna bring this over. I have 2 screens, so I apologize. It was pulling up on the other screen next to me. So here's my background. We're ready to go. One thing that before getting into this, is I do really like having my images on a white, kind of a white platform or a white background in Photoshop. And I know you can change that in your preferences. I do it because as you change and you tweak your colors, your white balance is going to shift. And having this on a white background kind of keeps me grounded, allows me at least to be able to see and have some way of judging how close I am to my whites.
That makes absolute sense.
If you've ever stared at a computer screen for multiple hours, like we're going to be doing, there can be some color shifts. And so having that white kind of at least gives me something to judge on how far I started, like maybe shifting and seeing yellows and oranges.
That makes so much sense.
Okay, so here's our picture. And my whole goal with this picture is I wanted to kind of show, I'm in Southern California, so I'm very partial to the Volkswagen lifestyle. Love kind of like the old vintage VW buses.
Yes,
and
those are so cute.
That's kind of what we're going to try to be putting into this. We're going to kind of create a narrative around this summer road trip. And we're going to find out if we can put this bus.
It's very ironic with the times right now. Considering COVID.
Well,
but
it's COVID. Nice. It's the end of the summer, so that's why I kind of was feeling like
that's perfect.
It's kind of like a salute to summer to say, hey, we'll be back. So,
awesome.
Now I went over to, let's see. Bring this up. So I have a Lightroom. I have a light box in Adobe Stock.
Nice.
And it's asking me to authenticate. So I guess it logged me out.
Oh no. That's okay. Get right back in.
Yeah, so I'm back in. Had to send me my verification code. Might be a nuisance, but I love the added protection. So thank you, Adobe.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I'm so excited to see you composite that.
Yeah, so I went through and I was looking, and a big part of compositing, if you're looking at, we're looking at this road, we've got to determine where it's going to be. The big thing that can really throw off a composite is your perspective. So you need to really be able to tweak the perspective, but that's the one thing that you can't, because we're working with a two-dimensional image. We can't rotate around it, and so we have to use with what's in front of us.
Yeah.
So these were images as I went through. It took me, I spent some time going through the Adobe library, finding different images that I thought would really work.
Yeah. Adobe Stock has a great selection of just images in general. So definitely a good resource.
If you want to be entertained, just start typing words in and it populates from anything. Like there's
amazing.
The amount of images that are out there that people have posted is great. So
yeah, for sure.
For me, looking at some of these pictures, like this blue one I really loved. Kind of thought like the back end of a bus would be good, kind of driving into the sunset feel. Like I said, it's kind of like a salute to the summer. But
yes,
this photographer photographed this down here, probably closer to where he was shooting into this light.
Yeah.
Too low. If we jump back over to the road.
Yeah, trying to get a sense of what mode makes the most sense.
Yep. And that's one reason. If I can shoot everything, I know how I shot it. I know where I shot it. So it allows me to create the perspective, even though I might be putting two images together, I can match things.
Yeah.
In this challenge, I'm not matching my own pictures. I am matching somebody else's. So I'm going to have to work with what I have. Now when I took this picture, I climbed up onto this little knoll of the road, and I was looking down on it. So I needed to find a picture that at least was showing a top of the bus.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
So that starts limiting my choices.
Yes. Everyone in the chat agrees with you too. Like Diana says, picking the photo that has the right perspective is a total headache.
Yeah, it's very time consuming. That's why if you can be over 100% control, if you're a control freak like me, you're going to be able to shoot it yourself.
Yes.
I have a friend he's a photographer, but he has some old vintage VW buses, and he was like, "Oh, you should come shoot one of mine," but that was not an option.
Yeah.
So I landed on. I kind of did a quick test last night just to find out which one was going to find, just so I'm not wasting everybody's time. But
Weston came prepared.
Yeah, I tried. So I kind of landed on this one right down here.
Nice.
I love the look, the strong V. I think that's like a 1960s VW bus, and it kind of has this classic, roof rack over it. Also, I fell in love with that bus because there's so much green in this picture, and color is a big key. Color is going to definitely be your friend when you're compositing.
Yeah.
So, having a red bus on the green will kind of give us a contrast that allows us to have a little bit of pop, and it will stand out.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
If we didn't have the green, if we didn't have the red, nice thing with color is one of the three main elements that you can always change in Photoshop. And in your composites, you can tweak that so that you get it correctly. So we're back. Downloaded that image. Let me pull it up.
Cool. If you guys are just joining us, we're here with Weston Fuller. He is a photographer based in San Diego. And if you're watching, I know some of you might be watching from YouTube, make sure to come over to behance.net/live, because we have a whole chat and you can interact, with Weston and ask questions. So make sure to hop on over.
Okay, I'm just checking my color profiles to make sure that when I bring them over, that they are the same. Most likely, if it's downloaded stock, it's going to be in sRGB. Yep, there we go. The other one was a Pro Photo. So we're going to switch that. And drag this out of the way, and we're just going to drag and drop this.
Drag it in.
I'm okay with that.
Nice.
So here we go. Here's the two images that we're going to start with. Now, this is going to be just real rough cut. I had a question I posted to my Instagram story yesterday, and somebody asked me, like, what do I do to prep to do like a quick composite? So this is super rough, but I'm just going to drop this in, kind of look at perspective. Like I said, I did play with this last night, so I did, for the viewers, I did kind of cheat to make sure this was working.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back.
Nice.
So all I'm trying to do here is make sure that what we're creating is going to work, how well it's going to fit in. And I like this real kind of curve of the road.
Yes.
Obviously the bus is super big, but and that's one thing, because I was shooting this landscape, I had the ability to, I was sitting there for at least 30 minutes taking pictures of a road.
Yes.
Because that's the kind of photographer I am. And let's see if I can show.
Quick question from Tiffany. She says, I am new to this. If you decide you want to print this composite later, do you have to switch the colors to CMYK?
You don't have to. CMYK is going to be more for your print ads. And so if you're working with magazines and stuff, they will give you specific color profiles that you need to use. A lot of what I am printing, I use an Epson printer. I'm printing those in, I like Adobe RGB. Pro Photo, it gives you a larger gamut of color to be using in. If you're going to be posting to the websites, social media feeds, you're going to be using sRGB. It's a more standard platform used for the digital world. But you will know you can convert that later on if you needed to.
It's probably almost best to ask what they need from you, right, before changing it.
Right up front, you should know that. Let's see, I'm going back. This is, jumping back to Lightroom now. I'm looking for a picture. I know I took some pictures of cars. Here comes a car. Okay, so actually that car right there works very well. He's right in the same curve of the road. So I'm going to open up this one.
Nice.
And all I'm trying to do is, I'm not going to be using this picture because my other picture was cleaner. It had a clean road. But I really, once again, I'm trying to match perspective.
Is it like for reference?
Guys, so this is straightly for reference.
Yeah. Nice.
Actually,
that's really smart.
I am super happy. Well, one thing that's going to be nice is when we start getting also into the composites, you want to look at where your shadows are. And so we have shadow reference in really this tree right above where the car is. But because I have a shadow right underneath this car, it's going to allow me to, I'm kind of cheating. I'm actually seeing how the shadow is falling.
Yeah.
Well, I know where my light source is. And that's pretty direct. So this light is coming almost top down.
Yeah. It's like right kind of underneath.
So let's cheat again. Now we want to grab this one.
Fidel had a question. Can you save your personal adjustments in Lightroom, and can they be used in different photos?
You can. And that's one great thing about Photoshop. If you're following any photographers, and you'll notice that they say, hey, you can buy my presets or my filters. Most of those presets are being, they will create their own, and then they're selling you the action item or the preset. So you can do it both in Photoshop and as well as in Lightroom. You have the ability to be able to save your presets and be able to use them over and over again. I will show you a few in Photoshop that I use. as we get into this.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Weston.
So once again, I just used this second picture as reference because the car felt a little big, and then I'm putting it here in the road. Obviously the bus is a little bit bigger, but because it's our subject matter, I'm going to cheat, use a little artistic licensing. I'm going to keep the bus a little bit bigger. I don't want it to be too small, but that is feeling actually really, really well. You would know right away if that was off. You probably would want to move on to maybe finding a different car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to save that. Let's go back to our main image. So this one was just a little too big that we just found out.
Got a couple questions. So Teresa's asking, will you be taking the vehicle out of the background on this lecture?
Cleaning it up?
Yeah, I think that's what she means.
I will not, but we will be taking a few elements out of the backgrounds.
Cool.
You know, like I don't like this telephone pole. These signs I'm a little iffy on. And this mile marker one, I don't think I like either. So I really want to have the focus be only on the bus.
Nice.
And because of that, I'm going to stay mostly with this bus.
Awesome. And then Rebecca has a question. She's like, did I miss how he extracted the car out? How did he cut out the surrounding? I think you just used a mask, right?
So there's different ways. I'm going to get more into it right now.
Yeah, this was like a rough cut.
This was a rough cut. I just used the lasso tool. And I just did a quick select around it. If we zoom in here, you're going to see all this ugliness from the previous.
Yeah.
So we want to get rid of that. This was just so that I could size up my perspective. It's to me one of the hardest things with compositing something correctly. But if you can match that, it starts to all flow really well.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You need to know that going into it. So I've unfortunately learned the hard way where I've masked something for, I spent 2 hours masking something, and then you drop it in, you're like, oh, that doesn't work.
Oh, no. That's a bummer.
Luckily that was years ago, but
you've improved since then, for sure. I'm sure.
So let's hope, or I'm in the I shouldn't be on this.
Well, Adobe Live wouldn't have asked you to come on if they didn't think you were a professional.
Okay. So I was trying to drag my picture back up here.
Okay. So Teresa was asking how you extracted the bus from the original image. I get just the selection tool, right? I think that's what you did.
Just the selection tool. So I came up here and I used the lasso tool. And I just quickly hurried and selected it.
Nice.
There's different methods depending on what you're doing. I'm going to actually address that right now. There's Adobe, the most recent Adobe update has come out with some great features.
Yes, they have.
So if you click on the quick selection tool up here, it kind of has the brush with the circle of the dancing ants going around it. If you click on that and then you look up right up here at the top, it says select subject. I know this is all new, or this was a new feature in one of the most recent Adobe updates.
It's really good too.
It does an amazing job.
Yeah, it really does.
It really works if you have an image that is on white or black, or you're working with kind of a solid color. Now this does have something, so I'm just going to show you when I select that. That did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
it grabbed the bus. There's in photography, the definition of photography is painting with light. And one thing I love that I learned about Photoshop is it's the same way. I mean, Photoshop, the algorithms work with tones and colors, and so it has to be able to see those separations. So it still is creating with light. But if you look really close, we're going to see that it's grabbing this color from off the wall. And so that, it's not perfect. And unfortunately, I'm going to do it the harder way. I think for an image like this, I think it's the correct way, only because these have hard edges. And because you have hard edges, you're not dealing with wisps of of hair. But these hardest you can do is the easiest way and the most like perfect way is going to use the pen tool.
Yes.
And I know I probably just scared maybe a lot of people because pen tool people don't like. And
I like it.
If you get to know it, like I had to force myself to start using it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I did, it's
kind of the best.
It's the best. I mean, especially on these hard edges.
Yeah. Well, especially like for, when you're cutting out or like a really intricate, subject or whatever you're trying to composite. Even in like product photography too, like you have to really select, the product, and the only, like, I feel like the cleanest way is to do it with the pen tool.
Yes. Yeah. And that's,
Irina also agrees. Pen tool is the best.
Okay. I'm glad I have some fans of the pen tool out there because, this was maybe like a few months ago. I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, I never use the pen tool. Like it frustrates me and never does what I want it to do." And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about because to me, this is like my friend. And if you embrace it, you're going to love it. Yes,
exactly. I know people get really attached to their specific tools.
Very much so.
Uh-huh.
It's my pet peeve with Adobe is they keep coming out with these great updates, and they keep changing the way I used to do things. So I'm like,
You're like, no, change, no.
Yeah, it was working so well before. We don't need to.
What is that saying? Don't break it if it works or something like.
Don't
fix it if it's.
if it's working, I don't know.
I don't know either. If someone knows it, tell us in the chat.
Okay, so I am using the pen tool. I'm just dropping points very quickly.
Oh, that's smart, actually. Like in the corners where it changes direction.
Yeah, so the pen tool will work where it's going to focus on, it allows you to change your lines. And so everywhere you want the line to change, I drop a point. I'm dropping a lot of points, but one of the reasons for that is it will allow me to move them quicker.
I see.
And you can also add and remove points.
People are telling us in the chat, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There you go.
There we go. Thank you.
Why did we have a hard time doing that? That's great. No, I love it. That's very interesting. I like that you're just like dropping points so that you can like later refine them. That makes so much sense.
Usually I have found when I'm trying to create just a nice straight edge quickly, I mess it up. It makes it a little harder. So this way I just get my point of reference. You'll see what happens when we connect these anchor points.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
And this is where the elevator music would probably key in because
I know, right?
When you're masking, I was telling Arabelle before we started, I was like, I usually am editing late at night when I can turn some music on.
Yes.
And
or a podcast
or some movie or something where you can just like sit there and it's in the background noise. Because it's very time consuming. If you're a photographer,
yeah, it totally is.
And you just want to curating pictures, then editing might not be your cup of tea because you do spend a lot of time editing.
Yes. Yeah. Editing's a big part of it for sure. It's almost always takes longer than, actual shooting time sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I've shot for like 2 and 3 hours to get pictures. And then I've edited for the longest edit I've ever had is 40 hours. 40
hours is the longest edit you've had. Oh my gosh.
So it was a full week.
Wow. That's a long time. What was it?
It was a picture I was doing in 2017 to help promote single-use plastics.
Okay.
And I had 100 individual pieces of plastic that I added to the image. And so every image, with light is not if you're shooting and it's flat light, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of ugly. So you want, light has dimension to it. So
Yeah.
you have to go in and you have to create multiple layers of light. So for every single piece of plastic that we added into an image, we ended up, there was anywhere from 4 to 5 supporting layers to that.
Wow.
So,
That's incredible.
the
That's
file was
incredible.
massive. Okay, I am done. I'm done with the pen tool.
Perfect.
Back around. We've closed it off. The nice thing is now I use simultaneously down here on my keyboard. I'm going to push the command button. And if I do that, it would allow me to change or move that lasso around, but I don't want that. So we're going to I just add one extra point. And so I'm going to just drop the pen tool, just touch the line anywhere, and it adds an extra point. And so now, instead of moving the entire point, I have just the area or just the section between the two anchors that I'm going to be moving.
Nice.
Then we're going to get in here super close, and you're going to be toggling back and forth between the command and the option key. So the command will allow you to grab these different points, and as you move back around the bus or your object, you're going to be able to kind of put those back where they need to.
Yeah.
And then if you switch over to the option key, you were going to be able to grab these handles, and
make
these
it more
handles
curved.
are going to allow you to adjust your curve so
Very
it's
nice.
getting exact.
So, yeah, for sure. Teresa's asking, why is it not easier to use the quick selection tool? Which, at that point you'd want to be like, you're being more precise, I think, right? With, the pen tool.
That's right. If you're looking to just create a quick edit, a quick composite, the quick selection tool will be great. As we discussed earlier, these tones, since the roof of the bus and this wall behind it, the quick selection tool is going to have a harder time making the adjustment of like where the line needs to start and stop. There's a small tonal difference. But in all honesty, I chose this method for today because it's one that, like I said, if you don't like the pen tool,
maybe you'll like it after this.
You need to get to learn it. So if you really want to do composites, it comes in really handy.
Yeah, I feel like it's more clean. The cutout is just more clean.
It's cleaner. It gives you a straight line
control.
And it's a big part of what I love about photography is it gives you a freedom. When you're traveling, when you're working, you do get to take pictures, but there is a huge technical aspect to photography, and that is where you can start to geek out on your equipment and your editing. And I think that's where this comes into play.
Shelly had a question. How would you go about selecting the glass if the bus was going to be bigger? So like keeping the transparency of the glass.
We're going to focus on that because I'm going to remove, once we get the bus in place, we're going to keep editing this down.
Awesome.
To get it where we need to.
Great. So Shelly, stick around because he's going to go over it.
Yeah, we don't want to have a bus going down the road and you see a wall through the windows.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Totally. Fairy's asking, how long do you usually spend your time to make the selections?
That's a loaded question. It can take, I guess it depends on how challenging the selection is.
Yeah.
Because it's going to vary for each one.
Yeah. And especially if you want to be precise too.
Yeah. And I want to, if you're ever looking at an image and you want to tell if it's been composited or if it's been added, it's really easy to look at the edges of objects and you can see if there's halos around them. That used to be, I remember this years ago, I remember this bus that would drive around town and it had this big ad on the side of the bus. And it had the halo of where they had extracted somebody
Oh my gosh.
around them, and it would drive me nuts every time I saw this bust, because I was just like, if they would have spent
just a little more time,
like 5 more minutes, you would have been able to hide that look.
Yeah.
It was like a family on,
Totally.
standing in front of a building or something, but it was just,
That's hilarious.
it was
and
too
only
fake.
us photographers would like notice those details,
Yeah, I mean, probably nobody else would care, but
No.
it always bothered me. I was like, look at that. I'm like, and it's, if you're going to show something that big on the side of a bus, make it look good.
Spend the time.
That's right.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Well, just as a reminder, you guys, we're under 45 minutes until we do design feedback. So make sure that you're working on those challenges, especially right now as, Weston's selecting. So it's probably going to take a little. Again, the challenge for today was to add superpower effects to any photo using custom textures and distortion filters. So work on that and make sure to submit those before we review them. And, Weston will be giving some feedback on those. So yeah. I feel like this is where it's getting complicated or like more tough because of the grass, huh?
Yeah, and I'm not going to worry about the grass as much. The lucky thing is, going back to the picture, we had we have a little bit of
something in front of it. Yeah.
So I'm going to see if we do get lucky. And this back wheel is going to be covered up by some grass.
Nice.
And if that's the case, then
that's great.
I just know the majority of this is not going to be covered up.
Yeah, for sure. Tiffany's asking, do the reflections on the hubcaps have to be changed too?
Depends on where we were putting this picture.
Yeah.
Because I would say yes. I mean, the quick answer is yes. If we were using, if we were going to put this, bug or this bus into a city, you wouldn't have the grass.
Yeah.
So those are, kudos. Thank you for asking that question, because those are the things that you start noticing.
Yeah, it starts where it gets more intricate.
And if you start noticing that, then that means you're in the right mindset.
Yeah.
Because that's going to show up. Now, like I said, we have a grassy side of the road that we're going to be working with. So I think that, no, we've got some people right here on this hubcap. So that might be something we start looking at a little bit later on.
Yeah, for sure. Great questions, you guys.
Good eye. Those are the things I usually look for.
Yeah, and some people are chiming in and giving some suggestions even. So thank you guys. Robert says, when it makes sense, depends on the image. You could start with quick select, turn selection into a path, then adjust it using pen tool. So that's another way for sure. Cool. Thank you guys.
The thing I love about Photoshop, I'm not gonna lie, it was one of the things that made me a little bit nervous. Is there are 1,000 different ways to get from point A to point B with Photoshop.
Totally.
And so even though I'm doing it this way,
somebody else might do it a completely different way.
And that's exactly like what Robert said. So there are different ways to do things quicker. So if you can do it quicker,
and it makes sense for you or it works for you, then, by all means.
Yeah. And I went to art school when I was in art school, and we were going through our class. The pen tool is one that, like I said, people hated.
Yeah.
And so I kind of fell in love with it. And then as my own challenge today was, I just wanted to kind of give a little shout out to the pen tool to tell people, start working with it. You're going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Getting it right.
think we're about halfway there. So
yeah, not bad.
a point here.
I like that you mentioned that you're more of a late night editor too, because I'm like the same way. It's just, it's quieter and you're just, or like, it's just you and your program and just going.
Yeah, I've got 3 amazing kids and they keep me busy. And sometimes when I need to, things get done faster when they go to bed.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. That looks good. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for jumping in. We are here for anyone who is joining us barely now. We're with Weston Fuller. He is a photographer and retoucher based in San Diego, and he's working on this fun little summer VW bus composite. Some of them are his plates, and some of them, he just kind of grabbed from Adobe Stock, and so he's just kind of putting it together. Right now, he's making a selection with the pen tool. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Clean this up a little bit later, but in my head, I'm thinking how boring this must be for everyone watching. So
you never know. Sometimes, it's fun watching what other people do during their editing process.
I'm my biggest critic, and so like in my head, I've got like all these like thoughts of what's going through everybody else's head right now.
Oh, thank you, Cody, for plugging that in. Yeah, make sure to go check out Wes's Instagram. It's Weston Fuller, and he's got a lot of fun work on there. So definitely give him a follow.
Yeah, I just did some recent, just did a recent project. It was fun. It was like an interior design project.
Mm-hmm.
My wife does amazing. It's my shameless plug for her, but she's an amazing interior designer. And so she did this commercial project with a company here locally called Tubby Tot. And
cool.
They do like kid-friendly bath products. And I was kind of helping with some branding images. And we took some of the interior design photos that we took with her. And then I put these bubbles in kind of, in the post-production side, kind of create this little fun branding aspect of what they do and who they do it for. It was fun. So that's kind of like one of my most recent composite work that you're going to see.
Yeah, make sure to go check that out. Oh, everyone's saying, I love watching people's process. This is Robert. You can pick up so many tips and different ways of doing things. And Jess says, you're doing great. I think all artists have a tendency to be our own hardest critics. So you're not alone.
Thank you. We need a support group.
Yes, exactly. That's so important, especially as a creative and as a freelancer too. You have to have like those people around you. Freelancing and kind of being in a creative career on your own, especially, can be, kind of lonely sometimes. So it's always good to have friends.
Yes, I've got some good, amazing friends that are photographers, and sometimes we just end up reaching out to each other to talk and see how each other, how we're doing, because especially right now in the world with the state of it, we are kind of by ourselves. The industry is in flux, and retouching is a great outlet, and it's helping kind of overcome some of those photography challenges at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I've been extremely happy with my abilities to be able to stay and keep some work going.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How has that kind of affected your business or just what you do in general?
I was supposed to be on a big shoot this spring, and I got the unfortunate email that just says everything was on hold.
Yeah.
And I've got some other great friends that are more event photographers. They do some photography for the
Mm-hmm.
NFL and the NBA, and they have to schedule their entire year out based off of around the
Yeah, that's so
seasons.
true.
And they just said, like, in the matter of a week, they got so many emails about the seasons canceling and closing and
it's heartbreaking.
That they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of just all this craziness, just wanted to mention that Adobe does have the Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund. So that'd be something to check out if, just as a creative, you can apply for it and get some funds. So make sure to head on over. I actually don't know the link, so maybe Cody might drop it in the chat. But yeah, something to check out and just to read upon and see if it's something that could, you could apply for as a creative. Oh, Fidel says, looking at Weston's IG page right now, there's some great composites in here.
Thank you.
And Jess says, we are here supporting you. I'm a freelancer and sitting here alone, but not really, and working on a business card design. That's great.
Yeah, the thing I love about retouching and composite work is that, even though we might classify ourselves as a photographer retoucher, we're more, a big part of that is problem solving.
Yeah.
And so
totally,
what we're doing for either ourselves, for our work, or for clients is we're problem solving, and we're bringing solutions to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes they don't care how we get the job done. They just want the job done.
Yeah, totally.
And so, like, back in May, I had this great experience. I wrote about it, I think, in my LinkedIn stuff, but I had this experience where Southern California was experiencing this super bloom of bioluminescence that had happened, and it was amazing.
That's awesome.
I had heard about it for a decade. My wife is from this area, and so she always kept telling me, like, oh, we should go see the bioluminescence.
Yeah.
We would go down there, and half the time I think I don't even know what I was looking at.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too excited to go see it. And then we showed up at the beach, and when I saw the first wave crash, I was just blown away because the whole wave lit up. It was just like this.
That's incredible.
Electrified effect that went through the wave. And I sat there and I looked at it. I was amazed. In my mind, I was like, I've got to somehow take a picture of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a photographer, like, we always want to document everything. So
yes, that's a fact.
So the very next night I went back out with my two boys, and we were trying to take pictures of the bioluminescence. And you really can't get the effect of it. Because it has to be so dark, and if you're shooting in the dark, you have long shutter speeds, you're cranking up your ISO, and you're adding noise. You're adding noise to your image.
Yeah.
So you can't really. I couldn't capture it, so I tried for a couple of nights to capture a really good shot of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, other than a landscape shot, this is, it's all I was getting. So I wasn't really happy with it. And so I I created a composite this spring to capture the moment where my son and I went surfing in the bioluminescence. And since we're talking about superpowers.
Yes.
If you've ever swam in bioluminescence, it's like this feeling of your hands, swiping through the water, and it like creating this aqua globe.
Oh my gosh.
Like I was blown away, to say the least. Like, I was such a little kid in a candy shop.
Oh, I love that.
And I wanted to kind of I wanted to immortalize this memory that I had with my son. So, so I went out and I was looking at light. When could I capture this? And so I went out in like an early morning when the shade was still on some of the cliffs around my house, and took a picture during the day, did it in Photoshop. I did like a day to night conversion.
Amazing. I'm always fascinated by people who can like turn a day photo to a night photo or vice versa. It's like incredible.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, that's ultimately what I could do. I did so that I could remove noise. I was
Yeah, that's a good
troubleshooting
point.
this image. So it allowed me to remove the noise. It allowed me to get the most crisp shot that I could,
Yeah.
and photographed. I photographed a couple, friends and their son.
Super fun.
And I ended up dropping them into an image that I was super happy with, kind of creating this, recreating this moment that I'd had with my son when he was gone surfing.
That's really nice. That's beautiful. Thank you, Cody, for dropping in the Adobe Community Fund link. And then Mike Lewis says, I appreciate you, Weston. You have a remarkable vision and attention to detail. And Nikki's asking, what cameras do you shoot with, Weston?
So I shoot with a couple of different cameras. Kind of my go-to everyday camera is a Nikon D850. It shoots in a high pixel format. Because of compositing, we're manipulating those pixels as much as possible.
Nice.
And then I combine that. I also shoot with a medium format, a phase 1 camera. And that one is a high pixel camera. It's not the 150 high pixel camera, because I like to shoot with a little bit lower. It's a 60 pixel camera, 60 pixel back.
Wow.
But it pairs really well.
That's incredible.
The Nikon body. And so when I end up using those two cameras to create one image, I don't get a lot of distortion. So it's I try not to get caught up too much on the cameras, because they're tools. Everything, like it's
totally.
Photoshop. It's a tool that we use.
Yeah. The creative is in your mind, and you as an artist, and the cameras are just tools. So yeah, totally. Cool. Jonathan says, hey there, been lurking. I love seeing how pros work, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to chat and bring us along. That's so nice. Yeah, Weston's showing us all the techniques. So it's kind of like one of those things that's like oddly satisfying to see you like match it up to the edge.
Yeah, and if I am going a little bit quicker than sometimes I would, but when you get it right on, I think that's why maybe I use the pen tool, is because
it's precise.
It's precise, and when you do get it matched up, like there's no question. I'm not worried about compromising based off of using the select tool. The quick select tool, I've used it, and sometimes I get super frustrated because I'm like, it's just, you click on something and it goes too far, and you're just like, why is it going too far?
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, we have about 26 minutes until design feedback, you guys. So hopefully you're still working on your, superpower effects on your photos. Make sure to keep working on them. We'll be reviewing them very soon. Ferry has a question. How do you match your luminosity and color of your subject to the background?
That's one of the next things we're going to do as soon as I drop this in, only because color is huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so come back here to our layer now.
Amazing.
Okay, so feeling pretty good about that. There's obviously the windows. We're going to cover that, but I might clean that up a little bit so I'm not wasting time. Goal is to finish this edit in 2 days. So
getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so hard to try and finish something, in 2 days, because sometimes things like just take longer than that. And we're only really working like technically like 1.5 hours for each day.
So I've gone into the select tool or the select and refine tool.
Mhm.
And I'm just wanting to shift that edge in, even though I try to get it as precise as possible. I've just tried to select it, bring it in just a little bit to get rid of the halo effect. I always like to do a new layer with layer mask.
Yeah.
And so then you can see, here's where we're at. I think I had one more mask. And we're just going to add to that.
Very nice. Oh, cool. That looks
so we're going
good.
to go ahead and do some more. Let me save that before, obviously, the work didn't happen.
Nice. Ooh, we've got someone from Brazil. Hi, Yuri. It's very cool to see the process of creation with you guys. Yeah, Weston is doing an amazing job already. So.
Okay, so we're going to drop this in and we're going to line this back up.
Nice. It looks really good. Tiffany says, nice. There we go. That bus looks so cute there.
So I'm kind of just watching where those wheels are. Like I said, I wanted to keep this a little bit larger than life, so I am going to cheat the perspective just a little bit.
Yeah.
For the proportion. You're almost right.
Almost there. Nice. And Teresa says, obviously the basket on the top of the car needs adjustment as well. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go back in and I'm clean that up a little bit later. Windows and the basket will be cleaned up. Part of the summer is a whole goal with getting this is I would do the same thing. I have some surfboards, like a stack of surfboards that I thought of putting on top of this.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of create that like summer road trip feel.
Yeah, totally.
So I do want to put some, the basket will come into play with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Go ahead and get rid of that. That's where we're at with this bus. I'm just going
to. Shelley's asking, do you work with smart objects in your composites?
I do. I do work with smart objects. It takes up a little bit more memory, but they are great because it helps. You can always go back. Anything that is it's non-harsh editing is what I would encourage to do. That's why I work with a lot of layers. That way you can always go back. It's happened too many times where you go back and you need to adjust something. Sometimes I've had to go back and adjust something months later. And
oh my gosh.
If that's the case, you want to be able to find it and not
go back. Yeah.
rebuild anything. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, so we spent a lot of time to just get these two layers together. That's where we're at, but I'm really happy the time it took. As you can see, our edging is really clear. It looks real at the moment. We're going to change. The only thing I'm going to do is change because this is a stock image of the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and change our perspective just a little bit. I want this back end to fall away.
Yeah. Nice.
That's going to help with just with what we have. I'm pretty happy with that. See a little bit of the top of the roof. It feels right.
Cool. Yeah, Jonathan says, edit being as least destructive as you can. That's a hot tip for sure.
Yes. Okay, so here we are. We've got our bus in there. Now, we were talking about this being a summer image. I would say the next thing really to do is, the thing that I keep looking at this is this sky is super distracting to me.
Yeah.
It's all blown out. Doesn't really add anything to the image. So I think the next thing to tackle is really kind of start changing, make sure these elements are all there. We'll be refining them tomorrow. We'll be kind of doing a lot of the more fine adjustments, grounding everything to the image, coloring, color grading. But I'm going to jump back over here to Lightroom. And let me jump over to my library.
Cool.
Library. Grabbed a couple different catalogs of skies.
That's awesome.
And I grab plates of everything. So if I see like a nice sky, I grab it.
Yeah.
I mean, this image was taken back in 2016. So
wow.
I've got a pretty extensive.
You've got a library.
I'm not gonna worry about any of the coloring, anything in this. It's just simply trying to find the right sky. Because it's a coastal image. I really like these wispy clouds. Kind of seems to add to the freedom of the photo that I'm trying to create.
Yeah, totally.
I do like the stronger clouds in there. So this is just a little bit of trial and error to find the right ones.
Yeah.
I'd say this one. This one is the one that I like. Let's go with this one first, just to keep things moving.
Mara says, thanks for sharing your experience. It's very valuable to me.
Yeah, I think that's when you have photography, people see your pictures, but for you, it's usually what's happened behind the lens.
Yes.
And that's a big part of my experience with photography is I love the journey and the experiences that I've had with the locations, the people, the cultures.
Like there's always memories attached to every experience.
Yep.
Very cool. Limwell's asking, should you use smart objects to keep the original quality of the image every time to resize it?
I don't, only because it hasn't helped. Smart objects do help, so that it's not being destructive. You can go back and change it. But it's a small aspect. If it was more of the main subject,
right,
I would probably incorporate that.
Yeah.
Because this is a sky, I can actually bend this and shape it a little bit more so that clouds are in all shapes. So it's not going to be, if I stretch this VW bus, everyone would know it looked weird. But the nice thing about clouds is they're a little more forgiving, so they allow you to.
That's true. That's a good point.
Change things up a little bit. This obviously has some mountains in it, so we're going to get rid of those mountains. Goal is to have it just show up here where everything's blown out. Yeah, totally. Very cool. Okay, so
very great questions, you guys. Keep them coming. Oh, we've got another one. Jonathan's asking, when approached for these kinds of jobs, are you usually doing the conceptualization, or is that the work of a CD or graphic designer who will be using the end piece?
Both. And so when I am approached, I'm hired. I actually will bid it as two different jobs. So I might be the same person, but I am, some of the larger jobs I've received have come from clients because they want me to be a part of the whole process from start to finish.
Amazing.
Okay, so I'm going to go in here and select. I'm going to use my color range. This is a little bit different technique because of all this color that's inside the. Looking for my window. It's over here. Oh. It's on the other screen. So I've selected the sky. So I'm trying to just isolate the sky. I'm doing a color range selection because of like all this fine detail that's in the leaves and in these trees would be a pain to mask out.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be a very quick and subtle way of trying to get that. I love the fuzziness slider because it allows you to really hone in how much you want to select.
Yeah.
Now everything that is selected, even the bust down here, you can see it's in the silhouette that it is grabbing that. But that's going to be good enough for what we have.
Nice.
At the moment. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that We're going to convert that, get rid of the sky. So we just did a quick option mask tool selection there. It got rid of it. I'm now going to take that mask. I'm going to move it up to my sky, so we're keeping it all isolated.
Oh yeah.
And let's reverse it.
Whoa.
So we're gonna change the sky, kind of bring it back to how we needed it.
Oh yeah.
Some of these clouds up here.
Very nice. Cool.
Good with that. That seems a little more summery to me.
Yeah.
Not so blown out. Adds more to the image. Now let's bring in our mask and see what we have. Got to clean this up just a little bit.
Cool.
That way it got rid of the feeding into the bus. We've got some stuff happening right here.
Very nice. Awesome. You guys, we are under 15 minutes, 13 minutes to be exact, until we review some of your challenges. So make sure to wrap those up soon. Again, it's adding superpower effects to any image using custom textures and distortion filters. So very excited to see your work. We'll get a chance to review.
So just using the brush tool. Still working on the mask.
To like remove all the posts.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
if
smart.
I wasn't replacing the sky, I would have gone in and cleaned this up, or maybe I would have removed these objects.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm looking and noticing, wow, I must have had a really dirty filter when I took that picture. So we'll go in and
clean that up.
Yeah, I used this picture specifically so I could show that. No, just kidding. I just noticed that.
Lemuel's asking, how do you soften the sharp edges created by the pen tool?
So if we're sharpening this edge here, maybe if I can ask a question to follow up with that, are we asking how right now, or are we back when we were using the pen tool?
Yeah, let us know.
Because right here, we can, if we're selecting our mask, the properties of the mask come out here, and there's a feather slider that allows you to change your mask. And so you can see I already went in and selected it when we were using the pen tool, and I was doing a select on that, and I was changing the radius, and I was decreasing. I brought in by a -3%. I brought in the edges. But if I wanted to do that here, I could adjust it a little bit more. And we'll get in. We don't want, when I'm looking at this image, I need to see, we need to see where the focus is.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that objects, if they're in the distance, are blurry. If the objects are in the foreground, are sharp. Well, based off of where the sharpness is in the picture. So this picture was sharp, looking right here at the mile 19 marker. This isn't too bad. I would say maybe our bus might be a little bit sharper. And we'll have to knock that down just a little bit. I knock it down using the Gaussian blur.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's multiple ways of doing it.
So up here, we're in the sky.
Perfect.
This is a technique that I loved. If we're using the brush tool, you can still see that there's some kind of the haloing and ghosting around these open areas of the tree.
Yes.
I mean, it's done a pretty decent job, but we want to clean that up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Someone asked that in the chat too. So I'm excited to see this.
So if, so using the mask, using our brush tool, I'm going to come up here to mode, and under mode, I'm going to go to our overlay, and I'm going to brush this out. You know, you're going to want to be with your color. It's going to be on white or black. And then if we can just kind of quickly go over, we can start getting rid of the ghosting. And this is just really nice. Be a super quick edit, but I'm at 100% opacity. My flow's at 100%.
That looks really good. This is while you're still on that layer, and you just.
I'm still on the layer. I'm still working with the mask. So I'm refining my mask just a little bit farther. But by using the overlay mode, allows me to kind of clean up, and then what it's doing, it's magnetizing the edge of anything that's light.
That's so smart.
If I flipped my color to black, it would do the opposite. It would actually bring the mask back. So it's kind of just revealing it. If you don't want it to be too heavy, like I said, I'm at 100% opacity. If it's something you're dealing with, like especially hair, things that are a lot more finer. I mean, some of these leaves are, so I would need to come back because some of these leaves are just floating out here. So if I change my opacity, I can knock that down, and it's not going to have as harsh of an effect.
Yeah.
And so it kind of looks like maybe, you know, they're blowing in the breeze, or it doesn't remove all of the white. So it still creates something that it grounds it and connects it.
Yeah. Teresa asked, can you use the overlay with hair also to clean it up? Which you just mentioned. Yes.
Awesome. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. That's a really cool technique. And that's on while being on the mask and then clicking overlay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look over at my layers, you're going to see, I only have 3 layers at the moment. And so and they're all just the main, kind of the base images.
The main pieces. Yeah.
That I've used.
Yeah. Super nice.
Okay. So we're there. Cut up, a little harsh there. Don't worry about that telephone pole later.
Perfect.
But like, it goes back, if you're just joined, I mean, I shared that story earlier where there was that bus that was driving around town, and I would notice this halo effect around the people, and and that's where I kept thinking, I was like, if they only would have used the mode tool, they could have gotten rid of that halo in minutes. Like it wouldn't have taken any time at all.
Amazing. Well, I learned something new. So that's I'm definitely going to be using that technique. I feel like I usually use like for grass or like any like super textury things like that. I'll do the select and mask tool and like the refine edge. But that's like with the selection, you know, when you're still in the selection mode. So
with Photoshop, I feel like you have to always be working it. Like you'll go back and change things. So,
but that's I'm definitely going to try that next time for sure. So thank you.
I'm gonna go. So I'm changing my layers. Like I said, sometimes it's always important if you change your layers, keep naming them so you know like what you're working with.
Yeah.
If you get into a composite that is hundreds of layers long, you want to group them, you want to name them, you want to be able to find things quickly. So here's where we are. Very quick. Things are feeling good. The sky maybe a little bright, so we're gonna add a curves layer. We're gonna anchor this to the layer below it, so just to our sky. Obviously our blues are off, but
that's nice.
This is gonna have us, so we're only adjusting the sky.
Yeah, that already looks like it's part of the image. Very cool.
Okay, and then we're going to come back down to the, let's see, we're going to come back down.
Fun. So just 5 minutes, guys, until we are heading over to Discord to review your challenges. So wrap those up pretty soon. I'm excited to see what superpower effects we'll be seeing in your work.
So I'm going to add a little color layer. This is a blink layer, but allows me to get into this this small area because there's still some haloing. We want to match that. So I'm adding a blink layer in there where I can just grab some color. I'm going to change my layer properties to color. Then I'm going to sample the green. That's too much. One thing that's nice, even at, I'm going to use that. So if this was too much, and you got this, all of a sudden you got this like light green. I will use just like the opacity to really like dial it in, where it needs to be. And that is still affecting our mask.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just painting in some of that.
Nice.
Okay. So that is where we're at now. If you're looking at a landscape, you're looking over, the horizon. In the daytime, the horizon will always get lighter because it's just, you have more depth where it disappears.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I use a gradient. Sorry, I kind of like get stuck here. So use the gradient tool. And we're going to create kind of a little bit of a mist for blending purposes.
Okay.
It just kind of creates the density that you would usually see in a normal picture.
Yeah.
So change our density color from a gradient. Drop this down and see what we're going to do. A little too much.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, and then it's reverse. So if you're doing like a day shot or a night shot, everything will get darker out into the distance. So,
yeah, that's a good point.
So that is just a small gradient.
So fascinating. You really have to like think about like light and color and how everything is in real life to be able to like emulate it in your work.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, so what's our time like? So
we have about 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna start. There was a question that was brought up about color and matching color.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump into the bus. I'm gonna introduce it, and then maybe it's a good place that I can pick up tomorrow or later on. But so we have a bus. I have some action items down here where I have my screen is too big. So I have a color correcting action. It's really simple. Color has to affect 3 things. And so when I click my action, it puts it in. You're going to see these 3 layers added to my object. It's anchoring to the bus here. But it's going to be my contrast, it's going to be the color itself, and then it's going to be its saturation. So those are the 3 objects or 3 factors that I'm using almost on every time I add something into a picture.
Yeah.
And then it allows me to go in and really start to try to change how this is going to look with the picture. So
I really love Photoshop actions. They make things a little bit easier.
They make things easier. The only
speeds it up sometimes.
It speeds it up. You sometimes have to go back and review.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
What you actually did, because I've created actions and then I keep using my actions, and then later on I kind of have to re-educate myself of what that action
does,
like how I created it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So with the color, I'm still using a curves layer. Curves layer. This was taken on on a cloudy day. Looks like it was kind of a cloudy day. There's kind of some blue.
Yeah. Looks a little more cool.
Yeah, it's a little cooler. So I'm going to go into this curves. I'm going to drop my curves. I'm going to grab my blue curve, and I'm going to just adjust that. So I'm adding...
Make it a little more yellow or more warm.
Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to match what I'm seeing in my background.
Cool. All right. Well, we're ready to go to Discord, you guys, and review your challenges. So, we'll be, reviewing those and then coming back to Weston for a little bit more, and then we'll wrap up, and, it'll be fun. So let me, real quick, I'm going to set this up. Okay, sweet. So let me go ahead and just refresh this Discord and see if anybody's submitted some challenges. Yeah, very exciting. Cool. Okay, so let's see. This is from Mari_03. Hello, everyone. I'm a little late with the challenge, but here I share my day 4. Wow, this is cool. Oh my gosh. I like the colors in this and the texture. Very superpower, I think. You can see this, right, Weston?
Yeah, I had to stop sharing my screen so that I could bring up this picture bigger. So I'm looking at it.
Awesome. Cool. I wonder if this is like a self-portrait too, or if it was just like a composite or...
Yeah, I'd love to know some of the feedback into, some of the elements that went into this.
Yeah. But I love the color. It's kind of like this monochrome effect of like all different kinds of purples. But very superpower. I like it.
What would this superpower, or this superpower's name be? I'm curious, like what?
I know, me too. Mari, if you are in the chat, let us know what this superpower is supposed to be. Maybe it's like something to do with the weather, because it's like super cloudy in the back. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe she has, who knows? But yeah, let us know. But this looks awesome. I like it. Sweet. Okay. So let's see. This is from Dash Bomb. Photo composing day 4. This challenge was hard for me. Not the best work, but I'm trying to catch up. Aw, this is so cute.
It's fun.
Yeah, super fun. I think it's just adorable. Anything with dogs and pets is great.
Yeah, I mean, I like the background picture seems, it's kind of got my, I'm trying to see what I'm looking at. It's like obviously the aurora lights.
Yeah.
We're a northern city.
Yeah. I like it. It's almost like, it kind of reminds me of those, I don't know if you're familiar with those like aura photos that people go and like get photos of their portraits. So, but it's like a dog aura.
This is like your spirit animal.
Yes, actually, yeah. I'm curious to know what their superpower is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, when I looked at the image, the first thing I thought is like, oh, definitely using hair. Animals are super fun, sarcastically said, to mask out because of all the fur and the lines that you have.
Yeah.
So part of me says like, oh, it'd be great to see those, the cutout of this dog really well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the softness of it works really well with this image.
It really does.
So, I'm hesitant to say anything because it's definitely the softness does work.
It works in this case. Yeah. I think
I would soften the mask. The mask is probably obviously a little hard, but
for sure.
It looks good.
It looks pretty good. I wonder what the background is too, like what that has to do, like what the connection is there. But it's beautiful. I love all the colors and the gradient, and again, the softness of the animal. I actually just realized that their tongue is sticking out. Oh, very cute. All right, awesome. Let's get back over here.
That is not a self-portrait, I would assume.
Yeah.
If not, that's a one talented dog.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder actually if maybe some of these images might be from a previous challenge, but they still all make sense because it's all superpower stuff. So this is from Abudallah, day 5. I'm assuming this is probably like the superpower effect, like kind of a...
The old Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
feel.
Boom. Yeah, no, this looks nice. Very fun colors. Definitely in your face.
Yeah, definitely in your face.
I'd want to see like maybe some more, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun if like even the text was like distorted too, to like really add to the effect of like an explosion. Like almost like as if the pieces were coming off from, the letters.
Well, and I think if you add that, like if that was added to an image,
yes,
you'd be able to play with the color. You'd be able to have either contrast, or it would show, if it was like somebody punching somebody else.
Yes.
Like the boom showing up.
Yeah.
So, like, these colors by themselves are very neon. So like you said, they're very in your face. And so but they're, they're the RGBs. They're your primary color. So you could play with that and you'd be able to match that with the background really well.
Totally. It also kind of reminds me of like, I'd be curious to see how it would look with like, what is that called? Like in like comic books, like the two-tone or the dot, I'm forgetting the name, but like that kind of texture on it to like really make it like like kind of comical and superpower and like kind of those like
some texture. Yeah, having some texture to that would definitely add to it.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it keeps transitioning and going. So great job. All right, let's see. Ooh, okay. So this is from Mark A. St. Peter's Gate portal, not the color you want to see reaching for you. Whoa, that's intense. Amazing.
I'm curious if he's, I'm curious if Mark's using, the brush tool, or how's he creating this?
Yeah, Mark, if you're in the chat, let us know what you use to create this.
Is it all separate layers that he's repeated over and over to create it, or if it's like the brush?
Yeah. It kind of seems like it's kind of from the same brush. And then maybe like they added just all these like kind of blur, like, or motion blur. And then just like, transformed them so that it made sense for where it is. But very cool. I like that they also added like as if it like the hand's burning too.
Nice dodge and burn.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. Yeah, I also like the harmony between like the hot and ice. Kind of cool and ice. Cool ice, hot fire. Very cool.
Yeah, the colors definitely good contrasting colors.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
awesome.
would you reach out and grab this hand?
I don't think so. Oh my gosh, very cool. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mark A. Okay, next one is from Biola. Decided less is more and simplified my pattern. Catching up. Ooh, yeah, these all must be like superpower challenges, which is always really fun. Voodoo Val always has like the greatest challenges. Yeah, I see that like pattern now. That little.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there you go.
Dude, what is it called? It's like
almost like a pixelation, or
there's like a name for it. I forget. Ooh, in the chat, people are saying it's probably the render flame for that last shot. That's smart. I didn't think about that. I didn't know that you can make like flames in Photoshop until recently. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, love the colors in this. This is fun. And I like that it's a pattern too. It's cute.
Yeah, I like the gradient, kind of how it's going kind of from the pink to the blue. Like it's kind of nice, subtle. And then the logo that definitely stands out. I kind of
yeah, for sure.
I'm assuming, I mean, it's obviously it's stronger on the bottom as it is on the on the top, so it kind of has like this fade feel. So
yeah, definitely. Very fun. Cool. I like that they thought about the background too versus just making one. Very fun. Cool. Thanks, Biola. Okay, so this is from Pat 12 Tree. I hope I'm saying that right. Challenge number 6, the wall. Whoa, this is interesting. I kind of love this like silhouette thing over here. It's very like
Yeah,
villainous.
this looming figure.
Yeah. Oh, someone in the chat said the halftone pattern. That's what it's called. Yes. For that like comic book effect.
So halftone pattern.
Halftone. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, love this. This is fun. This is very it's like a more of like a villain than a superpower, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to. He says the challenge was the wall.
Yeah, the wall. And I don't know if that was a previous challenge, but you know, it's cool. I like it. It all goes. So it's kind of funny, this little like alien thing down here.
I mean, he's obviously done a really nice job, you know, matching the color to that black and white monotone background, because you still got this pittedness of the wall that's coming through.
Yeah,
it's stronger on the left than it is on the right. So I mean, some of the color, some color toning going on, that those yellows.
Yeah, but I like that. Yeah, it definitely like feels like it's on there.
Yeah,
just maybe needs a little bit more work, like you said, on the right, but that's awesome. I think the texture helps, that it like seeps through the color. So
oh yeah, it definitely feels. I mean, even like, you know, I get caught up, like I start geeking out, like, you know, right at the top of that O, or even on the side where you can see kind of how the red, it looks like it's bleeding into the concrete a little bit.
Yeah,
so it's not like it's not a super you know, sharp edge or straight edge. So it, you know, it blends really well. So nice job.
Yeah, very nice job. And you can even see like the detail in the silhouette too, from of the texture of the wall. Looks great. Cool. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. So this one's from Fanny. Onomatopoeia. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Onomatopoeia. Crash. Ooh, okay. I like that they're playing with like this broken glass texture thing going on here.
Yeah, her hands kind of punching, you know, her hands punching this glass.
Yeah, that's super fun.
That's impressive. I like the perspective. I like how it's coming right at you.
Yeah, I know. I'm curious how they did this. This is intense.
Yeah, I want to hear the thought. Like, where was her mind during this? Was she super mad?
I know, right?
was she wanted, maybe, you know, she was having problems.
Maybe Photoshop was giving her problems. Yeah,
she was using the pen tool and she wanted to punch your screen. This is the view from inside her screen.
Oh, that's amazing. You know what it kind of reminds me of too? Like, you know, when you see those on the back of like cars or buses or like any, like where someone deliberately places like a sticker that makes it look like somebody shattered the window.
Yeah, the bullet holes on the bumper.
Yeah, love it. That's great.
Yeah, good job.
Super fun. All right. Whoa. Okay. So this one's from Barry. Okay. So superhero power from the villain. Whoa, this is intense.
Yeah, they've done a lot of, this is the most realistic, I think.
I know. Yeah.
So this is like kind of makes me think of Wolverine, right?
It does.
Instead of coming from the knuckles, it's coming from...
I know, it's coming from like the wrist. Yeah. No, this looks pretty cool. I really love the like just how the light comes up from the top, and it makes sense with the gradient too, or how the light falls, and the dodging and burning in this too is really
their
really
tone,
nice.
Their tone is, it, you know, it kind of has this gradual feel as it goes from the bright to the light, or from the bright to the dark.
Yeah, they
Works
did a really good
well.
job.
You know, they were matching that. They were matching it up here at the tip of the knife. Maybe I'd bring it up just a little bit higher, because the top tip should also be probably brighter, maybe
a little brighter. Yeah,
but you know, that's getting like super critical, you know.
Yeah, totally.
It's super, you know, it's good job.
Yeah, definitely work it a little bit more to match the lighting, but overall it's like really, really good. Yeah, I really love the detail here at the bottom too, of like the blood the
blood coming out of the wrist.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, it's not too, the edging, your edges are super soft. They've matched their they've matched their sharpness.
Yes,
So
yes. Looks really great. I think this one's my favorite, even though it's more villainous than superhero.
you have a dark side to you.
I have a dark side. All right, cool. Let me see if there's any more in here. I always like to refresh too sometimes because you never know. Ooh, okay, wait. So Abraham says, give the calling card another shot, better or worse. Whoa. Oh, okay. So that must have been a challenge. Like that other one that was on the wall, the texture with the spray paint. That must have been a whole challenge then, because this is kind of seems like similar.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. Very fun.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, if they've added the spray paint to the wall,
yeah,
it's done really well, because it definitely, like, there's bleeding and the edges aren't straight. And
yeah, and the texture is, you could see it through. Very fun. Yeah, I like this like vignetting thing happening too. Kind of fun. It alludes to the calling. Fun. Okay. Let's see this one. Oh, here we go. This is from Francis or France. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Challenge number 5 and crack. This is so playful. I like that.
Yeah, I think the style definitely alludes to, to the kind of this old retro style Batman Robin feel.
Yeah, totally. And I like that the hand's kind of like coming out of the glass too.
Yeah, I think the color of the hand, it's not, the coloring looks a little warm or a little orange, but it works well with this image because of the coloring. It's strong tones.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Awesome job. And I like that it's also, this Batman kind of like symbol right in the middle.
Yeah, the glass is done really well. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's a single image or if it's multiple images, if they, they had to brush in there or put on there.
Yeah.
No, it's done well.
Yeah, very fun. Cool. Okay. Cool. Let's do one more, and I think we'll hop back on over to yours. This is from Ron P, and it's that one challenge of the calling card, I think. I really like this wall and texture.
Yeah, this one seems the most realistic to me.
Yeah.
You can see the texture, you can see the color, you can see,
it really like looks too, like the way that the texture, the edges too.
Yeah, no, it's the dripping.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to second guess, did they just take a picture of some, of a V on a wall, or did they actually add this in Photoshop? So
yeah, this is neat. Good job, Ron P. I like it. And again, with the vignetting too, that like just like adds a little element to it too. Very fun.
It keeps your eye focused right in the middle of that picture.
Exactly. Super cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for submitting to the daily creative challenges. That was really awesome, you guys. There's going to be another one tomorrow, so make sure to stick around. And let's take it back to Weston's screen share. Okay, cool. All right, we're back into it.
Okay.
Cool. So we've got about 7 minutes until we wrap up. So whatever you want to take care of in these 7 minutes, Weston, you got the floor.
Okay. Well, I think we kind of left off where we were coloring the VW bus, getting it a little bit warmer. This is where it was before we went to the Creative Challenge reviews.
Sweet.
And kind of brightened up the bus just a little bit. Coloring, we added a little bit warmth, a little bit yellowing to it to match it. There's not a whole lot of saturation I think I would do with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I would probably revisit back. I want it to be a little stronger, but I think it's something I would revisit more in the final color grading aspects, just to make sure how things are working. One thing I like to do and I like to use is, this is another shameless plug for Adobe, I guess, since you guys have
I'm
me on
sure
here.
Adobe will love it.
This is a website that I like to use and visit. So, here I've gone, this is where we found the stock site. But I like to go to color.adobe.com, and it allows me to play when I'm planning out an image, looking at color, how I want something to work.
That's amazing.
The color wheel gives you these different options, and so you can kind of click through what you're working with or where you want. Color speaks a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And so
what a good resource.
With this image, because I am using a red on green, I would really want to try to find the right color. So, I'm going to come back over to our picture. Let me sample a green here by the bus.
That's pretty awesome. I think I've only ever seen one other person use that. And it seems really cool, especially, for planning purposes.
Let's see, I'm going to sample this green. I'm going to bring up my color palette. And this is my color green that I'm sampling. I'll come back over here.
And Shelly's asking, is Weston going to finish part 2 today or tomorrow? So still working on it, probably get to finishing tomorrow, right?
Correct. So tomorrow, my whole goal today was really to be able to get the major components into the picture, start tweaking those. That's kind of where we're at. There's a few other elements that I'd like to use. One is, let me go back to the picture. One is to create the narrative of the bus. Seeing this VW bus just drive down the road maybe is a little bit boring. So we need to have something, some type of interaction happening with it.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of, if you kind of saw earlier when I had the light box up here in the stock, I was kind of thinking, we could have like a hitchhiker, we could have some hats, kind of waving out the window. I think, I was kind of on the fence about adding surfboards to the top of this, but now that I have this picture in here, I like it. I think, we'll add some surfboards to the top of this, the bus. And then right now, because it looks like a sticker on here, we need to go in and we'll be blending the wheels. We're going to ground this.
Probably adding a shadow.
Adding some shadows. The shadow will do a lot to this picture as well. And then we'll start color grading it. And making all the pieces really start playing off of each other to work. So that's going to be a big part of tomorrow, where it's going to be refining kind of the overall aesthetic of the image. Yeah. Where today is building out the components, showing you the different tools that I use, how to put it in there and what to look for. Yeah. Hopefully those that have watched have found that helpful with
everyone's been saying really nice stuff in the chat, and of course this will be available to watch for replay, so you can watch it again if you didn't get a chance to watch the entire thing. That's the great thing about Adobe Live is they've just got this whole library of all of these streams, so super nice.
Okay,
very excited.
Back.
Oh yeah.
Over here, I just want to see my color, complementary color. Ooh, it's telling me that I need to go really, really purple. I want to shy away from the purple. I like the red. So I'm going to come back to that a little bit later because I want to keep it red. The red's gone a little bit orange now that I've warmed up the bus.
Warmed it up, yeah.
With compositing, we work on the bus again. I would I'd add another masking layer. And so this is where your layers, your composites really start to get more and more layers. Yeah. So I would go back to the favorite pen tool.
I really like that the reflections in the hubcap actually kind of makes sense with the grass being there.
Yeah, the back one definitely does. Maybe the front foreground needs to be cleaned up a little. That might actually be hidden just a little bit.
Yeah. It looks good though. That's awesome.
So I go in, create a select. Because it's color, we might get away with doing a quick select of the color.
Super fun.
And then we would add.
Oh, that's cool. So Megan just commented in the chat. You can also drag a photo inside the color program and it will build you a custom palette. That's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know that.
So this is if I'm going to just change the color. I've created a quick mask on just the bus itself, and then it's going to allow me to kind of tweak that where I want that color to pop just a little bit more.
That looks really good.
So I'll go ahead and clean that up, so that way we start with a nice clean mask tomorrow.
Sweet.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're almost at the end, I believe. Thank you guys so much for, tuning in to this day 1 with Weston Fuller. Don't forget to watch the Adobe Creative Challenge tomorrow with Voodoo Bell, and we'll have day 2 with Weston, and he'll be really just changing up, everything about the image is the aesthetic, as he was saying. So we're really excited. Make sure to stick around too. If you like The Office, the next stream is going to be really fun. So make sure to stick around for that. But thank you guys. I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Cool. Thanks.